Yeah, I'd say this certainly counts as something different. I've mentioned on the channel before, I think during the Renegade Platinum LP, that I have taken a bit of an interest in the Pokemon TCG and over the last couple of years. Of course, that inherently means that I've been messing about with the online version, which is what you're seeing here. Haven't been doing a whole lot of that lately, though, just because rotation's happening in less than 2 weeks. There's going to be a complete change to the standard format, but as a result, we have this new set, Unified Minds, that's just come out. That's also going to be giving the format a bit of a facelift, and so I'm probably not going to really do a whole lot in terms of gameplay until rotations taken place. All that sort of stuff's gone down, and we've gotten some deck lists from Worlds, which are now actually going to be relevant for the first 3 months of the season, unlike the last Lord knows how long, where somebody goes to Worlds, they win Worlds, hey, let's test this deck out. Oh, no, you can't. It's not legal anymore because rotation took place like the day after. Here it's the day before, which certainly throws a bit of a spanner in the works, but I think it's a pretty welcome spanner. I think it puts a lot of players on their feet and pretty much tells me whoever wins has certainly got a hell of a lot of skill behind them. That's not to say that previous World winners haven't got skill, because it takes a hell of a lot of skill to win the World Championships. But I like the change here. So what I'm going to be doing for this video is I've got 100 packs of Unified Minds here. This is the newest set, and I'm going to be cracking these open and seeing what we can get. So not going to do too much piss-assing about here. I'm not so sure how long this is going to go for, but I'm just going to go ahead and rip straight into this. I don't really have much in the way of target cards for this set. It's basically just, if there's anything relevant to my interests, I'll point it out. Cherish Ball being one of them. It's pretty good. Lets you search for any GX cards. Stadium Nav is also pretty good if you're running a fossil deck, because you can get the Research Lab. I think it's like a Research Lab. Golisopod, I really like Golisopod as a Pokemon as well, and this is a pretty good card as well. Free retreat cost if it has 2 or less energy, and that attack hitting a relevant weakness for stuff like Reshiram and Charizard. And what was the other one? Drawing a blank here. Blacephalon GX. So it's pretty cool. There was like as I was trying to mention before, there was a Research Lab card that lets you grab out a whole bunch of Pokemon from your deck that evolved from Mysterious Fossil and put them straight onto your bench without having to evolve them up from Mysterious Fossil. Well, I think it's Unidentified Fossil in this day and age. Blues Tactics, it's an okay card, but it's like you only get the draw cards at the end of your turn. Also, my pack count is not going down. That's rather interesting. Oh boy, baby Pokemon. I think this latest line of baby Pokemon has been just completely and utterly useless. I don't really feel like this should have been made. This still says I've got 100 packs. Why don't I try and change that up a bit? Because that would be really, really weird. Also, you can see I named my Reshazard decks Dragon and Dragon. There was what were those again? Dragon and Dragon with Wishes, which is the Jirachi build, and then Dragon and Dragon with Weed. Weed being Green's Exploration, because I'm just kind of juvenile like that. Anyhow, okay, so I guess there's like some kind of a trade maintenance going on at the moment, so it might be causing a little bit of weirdness with the rest of the game. I'm not 100% sure. So yeah, this is the Research Lab card I was referring to. You can grab 2 Pokemon that evolve from Unidentified Fossil and put them onto your bench. It does cost you the rest of your turn though if you do use it, but if you're going first, you're not attacking on the first turn anyway, so it's a good way to start off, especially with that card that lets you search stadiums. And here's the part where I went into a brick wall in regards to commentary. I don't think there's much I can really bring up, unless there's something that interesting that pops up, like a good pull. Such as Full Art Rowlet and Alolan Executor GX, Meme Tree plus an Owl, that's always nice. Not too sure how well this will fare in the game, but I like it. It's kind of a nice little shits and gigs type thing. Recycle Energy, absolute classic from the days. You might remember that there was a Game Boy Color Pokemon TCG game that came out, I think, around about the turn of the century. There was a sequel to that, but it was only released in Japan. But there is a fan translation for it, and I gave that a bit of a go, I think, earlier this year, and one of the best cards that I had in my deck was Recycle Energy, just because even if you spent it to retreat or stuff like that, or use super energy removal, you get it straight back to your hand, so you can reattach it if you want to at any given opportunity. So yeah, there's an unidentified fossil. So I guess that's sticking around for another couple of years. Actually, I think this print doesn't quite change its legality, because I think it came out in like Team Up. So I think Team Up in this set are going to rotate around about the same time anyway. So it's nothing we have to worry about for right now. It's like, yeah, Terracion's a pretty okay holo foil. It's not terrible. I guess the only real detriment here is that I have no idea how many packs I have left. What the hell is this? Okay. That seems like a bit filler. Marwile GX. This one is... I mean, it's a thing. I don't think I gave Marwile GX the time of day, and I don't think there's much of a reason to give it the time of day. This Caracost is pretty interesting. It gives fighting type decks a way to hit fire for weakness, which is pretty nice. Oh, hello, Slacking. Oh, okay, that's rather interesting. I think there was a U-turn board as well there, which is a bit like a skateboard, except it's not a skateboard, it's a surfboard. Giant Hearth, very good card for fire decks. Kangaskhan, yeah. I'm getting a lot of rare foils at this point in time, which is rather interesting. What's this? Oh, yeah, that thing. That seems very much gimmicky more than anything else. Oh, well, there's a Celebi. Celebi's never a bad thing to get. I don't think there's ever really been any decent Celebis in the game, though. So, oh well. If I was opening these in real life, I certainly wouldn't be saddened to be possessing that Celebi. I think that looks pretty nice. It's got an okay artwork. More Blues Tactics. Only got one choice Cherish Ball so far. Naganadel GX. I'm not even sure if I'm pronouncing that correctly, but I'm going to stick with it. This is basically like a Zoroark, but you have to ditch an Ultra Beast card to do it. But you get 3 cards out of it. I think there are some other uses for it. Obviously, you know, Injection GX is pretty good to add an extra prize card for the opponent to have to draw into to win the game. Weakness Guard Energy. That's a pretty good card. Oranguru, we're losing probably the best Oranguru in the game so far with rotation, the one that lets you draw until you have 3 cards in your hand, which is unfortunately pretty sad. It'll find itself more or less replaced soon, though. There is a new Silvally GX on the way out, which lets you draw until you have 5 cards in your hand. So it's a bit more like the old Octillery with its Abyssal Hand ability. But in the case of this upcoming Silvally GX, it can actually attack. I think it does... If you've played a supporter during the turn, it does 120 damage for 2 energy. And as a Silvally GX, it has access to the different memory cards that let it hit other weaknesses. Unfortunately, Fighting and Psychic are not in amongst that, because those 2 memories were released in the Crimson Invasion set, which is rotating out, so we're not going to have access to those unless we get our hands back on them in the in November's set, which might be nice. This Lapras is very relevant to my interests. One of the decks that I really want to build in the new Unified Minds format is the Slowpoke and Psyduck Tag Team GX deck. And the way that works is that it attacks by just ditching a whole bunch of supporter cards, which you can get back into your hand by using that Lapras. It adds a card called, I think, Misty's Favor from your discard pile to your hand. So you basically just want to sit on about 3 or 4 of those on your bench, have them all get back one Misty's thing each, and then just ditch them all. I think Misty's can also search like 2 supporter cards just by herself, which is pretty cool. Mega Sableye and Tyranitar GX. I think this is part of the Dark Box deck that's been picking up in a bit of hype. I might be interested in that if it turns out to be pretty good and shows some good placings at Worlds. Only one Cherish Ball so far in this... No idea how many packs we've ripped into here. I might see if I can try to change that. Karate Belt's pretty good. If you're behind on prizes, your fighting attacks cost 1 fighting less energy, which is pretty good for that Caracosta earlier, because it only needed 1 fighting energy, and that takes it down to using 2 colorless energy. Espeon and Deoxys GX, a couple of my favorite Pokemon, so I kind of like just having these two in the one GX card. Not too sure how good it will be though. I've not really heard a great deal regarding Espeon and Deoxys. There's the Misty's Favor card. Search your deck for up to 3 supporters, so you could like grab 4 of these out the discard pile, use 1 to get 3 more, and then I think you end up with about 5 supporters in total. No, 6. Yeah, you'll end up with 6 supporters in total. And I think it does like 60 per ditch supporter card, so 6 like... Actually, it might be 50, I'm not 100% sure. Maybe I'll be lucky enough to pull a Psyduck and Squirtle, Psyduck and Slowpoke Tag Team GX. Tripping over my words. Always good to trip over my words. Oh boy, Unpheasant. Tapu Fini, very good card. If your opponent has any Ultra Beasts in play, its attack cost becomes 1 colorless. For 100 damage, this will one-shot a Blacephalon GX for literally 1 energy after weakness. So it is a very good card to get my hands on. I don't have to trade for that. I'm probably going to get some more packs online just to trade off for anything that I need. There's my second Lapras. And that is just a thing. Escavalier seems to be a pretty forgettable Pokemon. Like, I never really think about its existence unless I, like, in a situation like that where I pull it out of a booster pack. I don't know. It seems interesting. I just not really interesting enough to the point that I would like to use one. Maybe that'll change at some point. Who knows? I'm just talking about random Pokemon playthroughs. There's another Giant Hearth. That's pretty good. A second Mawile GX. Okay. I mean, I guess I'll take it. It's probably one of those things that you can only get like 1 or 2 packs at most for. So that might just be a bit of a dud pull. Unless Mawile GX is like incredibly silly and broken and I've got no idea about it. I've probably been living under a proverbial rock the last month or so. So that Research Lab I pulled, I think might have been my second or third, and that's certainly another deck that I'd like to put together. It's just a fossil deck. I think the best fossil around is Aerodactyl. There's one that does like a bunch of damage to... I actually can't even remember. Like, there's a colorless Aerodactyl, another one of those. It's pretty nice. There's a colorless Aerodactyl that does more damage if you don't have any GXs on your bench. I think that's how that works. Which is okay, I guess. But then there's also the fighting type one, which can do a decent chunk of damage. And I think that might make for a pretty fun deck to put those two together. Might not sound like it, because if you put an Aerodactyl GX on the board, then your non-GX Aerodactyl doesn't do quite as much damage. But, yeah. I don't see why I can't give it a crack. There's Weavile GX. That's another one of those things that shows up in the Dark Box. So I might actually have the bits and pieces here to put together Dark Box. I think I need multiple Weaviles though. I think that's my third Lapras, so that's coming along pretty nicely. I think I need like some Weaviles. I needed that Mega Sableye Tyranitar. That thing is so useless. It's like I think the only deck in which that could probably be good against is maybe Lost March, but Lost March is getting hurt a significant amount with the rotation because we're losing double colorless energy, which is a pretty bad loss there, but yeah. It's like if you're getting Pokemon down to like 40 HP or less, then it means that you've probably hard whiffed a knockout. At which point you're probably... I mean, it prevents them from punishing you back because they won't be able to attack with that Pokemon that has like 10 or 20 HP left. But, you know, who the hell knows. I believe that was my fourth Lapras, so I've got all those out the way. Watch me end with like 10 of them in my possession. Full Art Narganadel GX. This is really nice. I kind of like this artwork. That's pretty cool looking. So... that'll be another pretty handy Pokemon to possess. There's my first reset stamp. This is a very good card to have. I'm not too sure how many copies each deck will run in the future. I think it might only be 1 or 2. If I end up getting only 1 or 2, then I'm not going to complain. I don't think you'll run any more than 1 of. Basically, opponent shuffles their hand into the deck, draws a card for each of their remaining prize cards. It is basically like the old N supporter card, but for N, it forced both players to do that. And while it might benefit you later on in the game, then it's like, it's still good. Not quite as good as this beastly bloody full art Raichu and Alolan Raichu GX. This is a very good pull for me. Because this is actually a pretty useful card to have in the Pikachu and Zekrom deck, and getting it in this artwork is really, really nice. If I decide I don't want this, I could offload it. It might actually be worth a little bit, and I might get a lower rarity one, but we'll have to see what happens. I'm not so sure how many of those you would run in the Pikachu and Zekrom deck to begin with, so I'll have to do a little bit of research on that one. But I do like how I pulled that. It's really, really cool. 16 minutes in, I might jump out and back in to see how many packs I've got left. There's another giant half. I think that's like my 3rd or 4th. Let me see here. How many packs do we have left? We have exactly 50. What do you know? That's pretty good. Okay, so we're halfway through, and the pulls so far have actually been pretty decent, honestly. Probably could, like, there's always room for improvement there, but I can't really find much of a reason to complain. I've got 2 Narganadels. I've got the Raichu and Alolan Raichu. I've not really pulled any secret rare items, though. That might be a nice little thing to pull here in this second round of 50. Unlike bloody Unpheasants. I think Metacham's actually... Yeah, Metacham's actually pretty okay. Karate Belt, as long as it's got one, it does 120 damage. If you're behind on prizes, that means you're doing 120 for 1 energy. Against Pikachu and Zekrom with 240 HP and a weakness to fighting, that Metacham is actually pretty strong. That might be my 4th Misty's favour. So I guess at this rate, all I have to do is potentially trade for, if not just outright pull the Slowpoke and Psyduck GXs, and I should be about right to build that deck. Oh, there we go. Speaking of secret rare items, U-turn board. Yeah, reduces the retreat cost of the Pokemon it's attached to by 1. It's literally the same thing as a skateboard. A skateboard is slightly better just because it lets you retreat while you're asleep or paralyzed, which you wouldn't be able to do normally. So, U-turn board is still like a pretty okay card to have. There'll probably be a point where we have to use U-turn board, and when a skateboard rotates, which I think might actually be going into the format after this one. But for the time being, a skateboard is pretty good. Especially if you're running Jirachi. It's just, those two go together like... We've got to make the really stupid reference here. They go together like lamb and tuna fish. It's ironic because lamb and tuna fish don't go well at all. Hello, Garchomp. I always like pulling a Garchomp, whether it's good or bad. It's pretty okay. 120 if you discard an energy. Could work with a Karate Belt. That's not too bad. If you have more prize cards remaining than your opponent, this Pokemon's attacks do 80 more. That is not half bad. You do that with a Karate. You do that in a Karate Belt. You can just discard a single fighting energy, which will cover the cost of the attack, and do 200. That's pretty okay. It's a shame it's on a stage 2 though. Stage 2s are they're a bit slow. It's like whenever there's a new mechanic, like when GXs were first introduced, stage 2s were alright just because a lot of GXs were stage 2s, like Decidueye and Gardevoir as well. Those were stage 2s that worked out pretty well. Gardevoir especially, so it came out in Burning Shadows and then 2 weeks later won the World Championships. And that's another one of those decks that I really, really liked back when it was, oh, hello. There's my first Rainbow Rare, Heatran, which is, that's pretty okay. Times the amount of fire energy. I guess if you, like, dogpile a bunch of fire energy, you could do some serious damage, but besides that, this seems a little bit underwhelming. It's a shame, because Heatran's normally a good Pokemon in, like, the video games. Fire and steel is apparently a pretty good type combo, despite its overwhelming weakness to ground. I think that's why some players put a an air balloon on it. Hello, Hapu. This is an okay card as well. I'm just like, I'm not so sure how much play it'll see, but it's pretty okay. Hello, Grimsley. You are probably the most useless supporter in this set. Move up to 3 damage counters from one of your opponent's Pokemon to another of their Pokemon. That might be okay. That's okay. Evil Admonition might be alright against massive ability heavy decks in the future. Certainly a hell of a lot better than the other Hooper that we've got in the format at the moment, which is rotating out. I actually can't even remember the name of the ability, but it's prevents it from being damaged by GX and EX Pokemon. It's very, very annoying. All bloody stall, heavy and shit. Reverse foil Stadium Nav, that's okay. Hello, standard norm. That is the standard artwork, right? Pretty sure it is. Yeah, it's the Arita artwork, so it's standard. Either way, can't complain. Hello, Scrafty. I think I tried using a Scrafty once, but I think that playthrough didn't get off the ground. I think I can still pick it back up off the ground, but there's not really any reason for me to be interested in it. That is my second full art Narganadel GX and my third total. I'm certain I ain't going to complain about this. I might even trade my regular art one off and try to get a third full art, because that'd be pretty cool. I'm certainly I'm quite happy with that. There goes more Lapras. That's my third Mega Sabltar. We'll call it that. Yeah, it's my third one of those. What are the other GXs that I could potentially get besides Slowpoke and Psyduck? As well as, I think it's Umbreon and Darkrai. Oh, there's Dragonite. Wouldn't mind getting that. Garchomp, Giratina. Those are some pretty useful ones. I've got the set list on my laptop right here. Reverse Foil Medicham seems pretty okay. There's Weavile. Aerodactyl, of course. Can't forget Aerodactyl. I did mention it earlier in this video, and then I just kind of forgot it existed. This is pretty good. Right here, reverse foil Steelix, regular Steelix. I'm not using Steelix. Get out. There's another reset stamp. I think I've got 3 of those now. Second Tapu Fini. Oh yeah, Latios, Jirachi, Mewtwo and Mew. What on earth? Mewtwo and Mew is actually gracing the cover of the booster packs that we are opening here, like back-to-back Tapu Finis. Yeah, how did I forget that this is a thing? This is like a kind of a busted card. People on eBay down here in Australia are trying to sell the things for like $50 plus, which I think is just a little bit exorbitant. But, I mean, prices are going to be all over the place. It's a freshly released set, so, you know, hello, got one of those now. That's pretty good. I think that's like the centerpiece of the Dark Box deck, so I'm happy that I got that. Hello. God damn it. Oh, hello. Oh. That's like one of the worst draw supporters in the set, and I just pulled it as a full art. Ugh. So yeah, draw 2 cards. It's literally the bill. If you're active as a tag team, you get 2 more, but it's not good. It really is not good at all. That's that is certainly what I would consider to be a complete dud pull. Second reverse foil Stadium Nav. I might be able to run my Stadium Navs as like reverse foils in the fossil deck. There's another Cherish Ball. That might literally be my second one. I'll have to have a look at that. Let me actually have a quick gander. Cherish Ball. Yeah, that's literally my second one. Jeez. Alright. How many packs do we have left at this particular juncture? I have 16, so we're not too far away from the end. Making some pretty good time, actually. I think I'm quite happy with that. That being said, 84... Pretty sure that's 85 packs now, with only 2 Cherish Balls is a bit bollocks. This is the thing I really don't like. Well, there's a third one in there like that. A third Mawile GX. Lovely. Yeah, the problem with sets like Unified Minds and Unbroken Bonds before it is that they keep toppling. Like, the next one keeps toppling the last in terms of set size and being the biggest set in the TCG, which is really annoying because it really, really dilutes the... like, just having a massive set like this really decreases your chances of getting the cards that you really want. It even comes down to stuff like the commons and the uncommons and stuff like that. See, like, I was lucky enough to actually complete my playset of Cherish Balls here. But I think I opened an Elite Trainer box and 2 booster boxes of Unbroken Bonds, like IRL packs in when that set came out, and I think I only pulled like 1 or 2 Poker Gears, which is rather disappointing. So it's like, I basically decided for this set I wasn't going to buy any like physical package stuff, with the exception of the Elite Trainer box, just because the Elite Trainer boxes, they usually have pretty nice artwork on those. But most of the stuff I'm going to be buying, I'm just going to buy singles from this set, because the set, I believe, consists of how many cards in total? The basic set is 236 cards, and then when you add all the other full arts and secrets and shit like that, it's 258. That's a rather ridiculous set size. I don't think it's the biggest set size I've ever seen in, oh my days. That is going to go for a fair bit. That's a really good pull right there. Really does make up for the coach trainer full art. I'm quite happy with that one. But yeah, I think the biggest set I've ever seen might have been an old, like, massive reprint set from Yu-Gi-Oh! That had like over 300 cards in it. Besides that, I don't think I've seen much bigger than that. Dragonite, I'm happy that I don't care if this is good or bad. It's a Dragonite GX. I like my dragons. I'm happy to have it. If I can get one in real life, then that'll be even better because it looks cool and everything. That might be my playset of Research Labs. I'll have a look once I'm done with the rest of these packs. Should be down to, like, within the last 10 now. What's this? Reverse Royal Garchomp. That's nice. Noivern. Pretty okay. Noivern GX is rotating out. I was slightly tempted to try out that deck. It's basically like an item lock, or just... I think it's like an item lock, and I think there's another attack that prevents you from using special energy in the next turn. It's just a general sort of lock deck, but I don't think it was quite consistent enough. Or I think it was just easy to play around. I think that's like my second reverse foil Tapu Fini, so I think that technically completes the playset there. Oh, that was the last pack. Alright. And we're just going to end with a Rainbow Rare. That's, I'm quite alright with that. Okay, so I guess, how do we... Hang on a sec. We want to... Yeah, this is probably the best way to set this up. Is there like a... Yeah, we can do this. So I think this is all the new stuff. We got one of these thingies. What else? How many Lapras did we finish up with? 7. That's pretty good. That thing. What else was there? Didn't get any Aerodactyls. One of those. I think I might need one more. Oh, hang on. It's scrolling down automatically when I'm closing this. Yeah, just 3 of those. I don't think I need 3 of those. I think I need that in multiples more than the Mega Sabotage. Happy with the Dragonite. 3 Mawiles, which I thought was kind of depressing. That's just one of those. The other 2 are full arts, as we can see down here. That's probably the best pull of the set. It's arguably the best pull of the set. From these 100 packs at least. Finished up with 5 Cherish Balls. Only 2 Giant Bombs, which is kind of playset of Great Potion. Playset of Blues Tactics. Playsets of... I've only got 3 reset stamps, which I'm alright with. Set of U-Turn Board. Karate Belts. Only 1 Harpoo in 100 packs, which is kind of disappointing. 3 Reverse Foil Stadium Navs, so I guess I'm using Reverse Foils for that. Oh, hang on. Let me change that up a bit. So yeah, there's the lovely Cherish Ball. There's the lovely U-Turn Board. There's the garbage Coach Trainer. And I think that's about it. I think all that's really left to show off is, yeah. I only got 2 Weakness Guard energies and 7 Recycle energies. Okay, I think that it will just about do it for this video. I would certainly appreciate some feedback on this one because it's the first time I've ever really done anything like this pack opening on PTCGO. I think I made it in pretty decent time, half an hour. And hopefully once the format has been established a bit and everything's a bit more stable, I might start doing some gameplay videos on this platform, but who knows. But for the time being, I'm going to be starting back up on the Renegade Platinum grind on Monday, and I don't know, see you for whenever I do another PTCGO thing, I guess.